AIA Vitality. Your health is every choice you make. We are part of a global wellness program with over 1.65 million members in AIA across Asia. And in Singapore, we have more than 100,000 members on AIA Vitality. Members live healthier by knowing their health through online health assessments and screenings. They improve their health by logging exercises and enjoying the rewards to keep them going. And indeed, members are making improvements in their health. Even the vitality age gap has narrowed to less than a year. Best of all, you earn points for every activity. The higher your status, the greater the rewards, including up to 15% off insurance premium on selected AIA plans. To keep you going, there is the weekly fitness challenge, with personalized targets to help pace and improve your fitness. When you complete the challenge, you get a spin on the Vitality Wheel to earn Vitality Coins, which you can use at the marketplace. That's not all. You also earn AIA Vitality Points for completing these activities. And very soon, you'll be on your way to Platinum status. And we sweeten the deal further with many exciting partner benefits that you can enjoy. With AIA Vitality, nothing gets better than a healthier you. So get on to AIA Vitality today because your health is every choice you make.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Saturday night Sunset Football live from the Jalan Besar Stadium. It's match day 3 in the AIA Singapore Premier League and a meeting between the teams that were most impressive in midweek. The Sailors annihilating Tanjung Pagar in the second half and Hougang doing the same to Jalan in their second stanza. So the stage is set for a competitive afternoon's action. The goals have been flowing in the Singapore Premier League so far this season. Let's see if it continues tonight. Without any further ado, let's get down pitch side. Our very own superstar, Farah Nair, has been catching up with the two managers with some important team news to come. We'll hear from Clement Teo, but first, Farah is speaking to Sailors boss Aurelio Vidmar.
Now, of course, you're on the back of that highly convincing win over Tanjung Pagar just on Wednesday. What were some of the positives that you've taken from that day for today?
Well, look, I think when you're playing a team like Tanjung Pagar, who defended very deep, we have to be patient and persistent, and I think that's what we were. And when we do that, over the course of 90 minutes, we should get rewards. It's not always going to happen, but a few things fell our way, and we managed to profit from those areas.
Now, of course, you're facing Hougang United today, who showed that they have their firepower on their side as well. How big of a threat do you think they will be today?
They are. They've certainly strengthened, obviously with Doi and Gilberto up front. And they have a lot of pace in the wide areas. So it's going to be quite a tough game for us tonight. But, you know, as I said, we will continue to believe in what we're doing. And if we can do that consistently over 90 minutes, then I feel confident we can get a result. But it won't be easy. And plus, obviously, for both teams, it's third game this week. So let's see how everyone's recovered.
Clement, you're on the back of an emphatic win over Jalan just on Wednesday. Momentum clearly on your side. For you, there's no better time to face the Sailors, is there?
Yeah, I mean, naturally, yes. We were given a boost with a great win over Jalan, and of course, if I look back, Sailors too have came back with a big win as well. So, well, let's yes, we are confident to continue playing how we want to play. But of course, naturally, against Sailors, we will be more cautious. That's for sure. The quality of their players, which they have, is something that every coach dreams of.
Like you said, just like you, they had a big win as well just on Wednesday. What do you think will be the biggest challenge for your side today then?
I think the biggest challenge will be containing their midfield players. Yeah, and of course those who players like Faris Ramli, whom you all know, probably will come in the second half. Then that will be a challenge.
Interesting to hear Clement Teo speak about Faris Ramli. Of course, Faris Ramli scored winning goals for the Cheetahs against the team then known as Home United back in 2019. He'll line up in the white and blue of the Sailors tonight. The pitch at Jalan Besar continues to look glorious after the recent refurbishments to the stadium, and full marks to the Sailors for their branding over there on the far side of the stadium. And there's the message, all hands on deck. The Sailors know, with Albrecht Nagata already becoming the only team after 2 matches with an 100% record, that they simply must pick up maximum points here today. But as Aurelio Vidmar mentioned, it comes at the end of a very busy week for all teams, having been seen in action 3 times just outside a week, and of course this coming before the international break. And speaking of the international break, by my reckoning, all bar one of the eligible outfield players and goalkeeper that start for the Sailors today have been included in Tatsuma Yoshida's Saifullah Akbar, Noor Adam, and not forgetting for Hougang, Lionel Tan. And also taking part in that training session will be Itraki Adnan. There are our officials, led by Jahan Zaiton, assisted by Andy Tan, Shadiq Al Hussein, and Mohammed Tawfiq Tana, who will be the 4th official. Nathan Chan put in a wonderful refereeing performance in midweek at Hougang Stadium in the game that saw Hougang win 4-1. They'll have to play every bit as good as that to get the better of the Sailors tonight, who played here in the first game of the season a week ago in that thrilling 3-3 draw against Tampines before comfortably dismissing Tanjung Pagar with a 5-goal second half rout. There's Faris Ramli, who is one of 2 changes to the starting lineup for Aurelio Vidmar's men this afternoon. Hougang United unchanged, unsurprisingly, after that very impressive performance where they showed particular promise down that left-hand side with Farhan Zulkifli and Shawal Anwar linking up brilliantly. So here come the Cheetahs. Can they do a number on the Sailors tonight? We are very close to finding out. Don't forget, this is one of 2 games that are in action this afternoon. 2 games tonight, 2 games tomorrow. I'll keep you up to date with the scores from Jalan International and Young Lions and our Tampines Hub as well. Remember, all the games are live on Singtel Star Hub, the AIA Singapore Premier League Facebook and social media channels, and One Play Sports as well, as the 2 sets of players fist bump as the sun starts to set on the Lion City site, and we're almost ready for action on this Saturday night. Well, the Lion City Sailors squad is star-studded, but as you may have heard alluded to in the interview that Farah did with Aurelio Vidmar, once again there is no starting place for Diego Lopez, who did make an impact off the bench against Tanjung Pagar United. He has to make do with the substitutes berth again. And there's still no sign of George Felipe, who I'm reliably informed has passed his yo-yo test, his mandatory fitness test here in Singapore. I'm sure we'll see him shortly. Referee Jahan Zaiton with the 2 skippers, Hassan Sunny and Fabian Kwok, who was majestic in midfield in midweek. Hassan Sunny, of course, it goes without saying, part of that Tatsuma Yoshida training squad that will form during the international break. So last minute preparations being made. We're ticking round to 5:30 local time, which means kickoff's not too far away. Confirmation of those 2 changes to the starting lineup to the team that began the game against Tanjung Pagar. Gabriel Quack steps down to the bench. There's no sign of Heikel in the matchday squad. Justin Hui and Faris Ramli come in. Diego Lopez on the bench if they need him, and even if they don't, I'm sure we'll see him at some point. Well, Clement Teo makes no changes, and you can understand why. Despite the fitness concern, the starting 11 were majestic, having recovered from that mishap from Makundan early on to let Amy Recker score. They were peerless from that moment on and went on to win 4-1 without conceding again. Makundan, who excelled himself after that early mistake. It'll be interesting to see how he gets on. And, of course, Lionel Tan and Idraki Adnan, 2 new international call-ups. In Idraki's case, just for the training part, not an official call-up, are in the starting 11s with Hafiz, who scored off the bench. There's Aurelio Vidmar. Well, he really knows that he's got to find an extra gear to keep pace with Albirex Nagata. Only 2 games in, and they're already 2 points adrift. Any slip-ups from here on in could leave them playing catch-up, and that's notwithstanding, of course, the likes of Tampines and Hougang, for that matter, will fancy themselves with a title tilt this season. The teams met twice last season. The corresponding fixture was a 1-1 draw. Jalan equalising after Shawal Anwar had given Hougang the lead in a game that was played at Bishan. And when they met in the away fixture for the Sailors last season, it was the Sailors that won by 3-1 goals from Gabriel Quack, Hafiz and Shardan. There's Clementillo, who tends not to show emotion, but he'll have been delighted with the way his team performed on Wednesday. Can they do the same, though, against the star-studded Sailors? We're underway. It's the Sailors in the white and blue left to right. Hougang in the orange and black right to left. Early touch for Akari. Gets it back to Hassan Sunny with Tomoyuki Doi. And, of course, all the attention when it comes to Brazilians has tended to be on Diego Lopez, but not forgetting Maresh has already made an interesting contribution to Jalan this season, and Gilberto Fortunata scored his first goal in Singapore football late in the piece on Wednesday. The offside flag was up for that through ball, but advantage played with the Sailors in possession. And here's Saifullah back to Tajeli. Some space for Shardan to operate, and that's a heavy touch, and it's let Hougang come away with it here. Midraki, who was a real handful down the right-hand side for Gaelic in midweek. It'll be interesting to see if he can repeat that here. An early touch for Adraki Adnan, and it has presented them with a set-piece opportunity. So they've got a chance to make something pay with a free kick, one presumes, that's going to be headed towards the area. Kaishu Yamazaki, a former Sailor last season, of course, delivers it in. It's not the best delivery, and they managed to get it clear. And that's not the best ball forward. There's a Sailor down in the penalty area, clutching his face, and is that Stipe Plazibat down there? I think it might be. Well, the big man looks in bother here. He's not the type to go down unless there's something seriously wrong. I don't know whether he clocked one in the face there. Let's have a look. Oh, I think he might have copped one from fellow striker Gilberto Fortunata with an alarm that was swinging. Of course, no VAR to check it, and he does appear to be okay. Speaking of the VAR debate, interesting to see the soccer car keys on their Twitter page. Excellent debate being provoked by all the fans of the Singapore Premier League. Once again calling for the introduction of VAR in Singapore. Can't say I'm in favour. I don't think there was anything malicious there from Gilberto, but the arm certainly came across. And I say nothing malicious, he's clearly got one in the mouth there. It's going to give Stipe Plazibat a fat lip, I'm sure, by the end of the 90 minutes. Hopefully he hasn't lost a tooth. Referee didn't see it, so can't give it. And Faris Ramley's going to get a clear look at this drop ball, which one assumes will go all the way back. Well, they play on, keep possession. Arguably justice done, bearing in mind they probably should have had a free kick anyway. Here's the pace of Shawal Anwar. Didn't take a Sailor's touch, so it will be Sailor's ball. As Stipe Plazibat gets ready to come back on. Beware poking the bear when it comes to Stipe Plazibat. He's showing the fourth official, by the way, just out of your camera shot. There you can see on the right-hand side, he's showing the fourth official that there is blood there, so they're not going to let him come back on until the blood is cleared. So an advantage maybe for Hougang, not that they possibly deserve it. Fabian Quack has gone through to Tomoyuki Doi. What a start this would be! Great save, Hassan Sunny. Comes out to Fabian Quack. The danger's not cleared yet, but a heavy touch from the Hougang skipper, whose captain's armband's gone flying, means the Sailors survive an almighty early scare. Well, Hassan Sunny's goalkeeping was called into question here a week ago against the Rovers of Tampines, but Tomoyuki Doi, who scored in almost identical circumstances against Jalan in midweek, was unable to finish this time. He had no excuses. He got it onto his favoured right foot. There was nothing wrong with the finish, really. It was just great goalkeeping from Hassan Sunny. What a start that would have been for the Cheetahs. Stipe Plazibat is now back on, so the Sailors back to a full complement, but they've had a warning served up to them from a Hougang team. Only the Sailors scored more goals than them in midweek. And Tomoyuki Doi is a real live wire up front. Well, Tomoyuki Doi, only Stipe Plazibat scored more goals than him in the SPL last season, 14 for Plazibat, some of which, of course, was scored for Hougang. 11 for Tomoyuki Doi for Albrecht. He's already got a brace after that 2-goal haul in midweek, but here come the Sailors at the other end, and great anticipation by Mukundan. Mukundan Moran, who recovered really well after that shocking clanger in the first 5 minutes that let Amy Recker score in midweek. Hougang have had problems with goalkeepers in recent times. Of course, Kai Rudin's double disaster against Jalan last season, and then already this season at Albrecht. The mistake that led to Ridwan being dropped. Sailors in what's an open game. First touch from Plazibat after he ended up on the deck, courtesy of Gilberto. Ball inside, and met well. No-nonsense defending from Maxat, who looks to be one of the most improved defenders in the division already. His appearance was despairing last campaign, but he's certainly grown in stature as Maxat, and he's going to be a no-nonsense defender for Hougang to call upon as he marshals what at the moment looks something of a back three for Hougang, which is an interesting tactic. You heard Clement Teo said they were going to err on the side of caution here, bearing in mind the Sailors' attacking talents, but we haven't seen much caution so far as Shawal Anwar sees Idraki in some space. Can Idraki control? Yes, he can. Now he's got the better of Noor Adam. Decides against it. And it goes back to Mukundan, who, unlike in midweek, has got the confidence of the early touch where he anticipated the through ball well. Nice ball with the outside of the foot there, played by Farhan Zulkifli. And Zulkifli, it was down the left they did the damage. No disrespect to Idraki, but it was down the left where Anwar and Farhan Zulkifli really looked lively in midweek. Looking confident on the ball at the moment, Hougang. Just a reminder, this is one of 2 games that are underway in the AIA Singapore Premier League this afternoon. Jalan and the Young Lions doing battle at our Tampines hub. Ahead of the 2 matches we will be bringing you both live tomorrow. The feature match for the weekend, which means Roshan Rai will be with me, is Albrecht Nagata entertaining Balestier Khalsa. Balestier Khalsa, one of 3 teams in the league, alongside the Young Lions and Tanja Bagar, still looking for a first win of the campaign. That's a ball through, looking for Shawal Anwar, and this may, thought for a minute, it may come to Gilberto. They're certainly showing something going forward at the moment, the Cheetahs. Picked up by Justin Hui, who gets a start today. Gabriel Quack, of course, whose influence is there for all to see. This time last week, starting on the bench. Here come Hougang again. Is the offside flag up? Here it is against Idraki. Very animated, I must say, the Hougang bench. Clement Teo having to calm down some of his assistants in the last couple of minutes. It's going to be feisty and fiery out there. Maybe no crowds inside the Jalan Besar Stadium. We hope that changes very soon indeed, but no quarter asked and none being given at the moment. Still goalless across our 2 Saturday matchups. Don't forget, tomorrow, Albrecht and Balestier Khalsa and Tampines Rovers and Tanjung Pagaras. Mukundan comes again and puts a really firm through that. Look at the distance he's got this. Idraki could chase this, you know. Calm defending by Amaral. Amaral, another man that will be part of Tatsumi Yoshida's training camp during the international break. Lots of space in midfield for both Hougang and the Sailors at the moment. Yamasaki is enjoying at the moment, arguably the better of the battle with Jalan. That's a lovely ball over the top, and Idraki's through, and the flag's down. There are 3 Cheetah shirts to look for. Drawing off is Tomoyuki Doi, goes to the middle. It was the wrong option. Idraki really wasted a gilt-edged opportunity there. They've won the first corner, but it really is a consolation prize, because Tomoyuki Doi had peeled off brilliantly. Have a look at Tomoyuki Doi. Just hold his run, just at the top of your shot there. That was the ball. Instead, he played it into the path of Tajeli, opting to try and find Gilberto instead. Well, who'd have thought this? 10 minutes in and it's been all Hougang United. Yamazaki with the corner. Gilberto, Maxat, plenty of height. And the Sailors just about get it clear. And look at this. This is what the Sailors did so well last season. The quick, rapid-fire counter-attacks. The flag stays down. Faris Ramley's going to need support, though. He couldn't take it in stride. Faris Ramley, looking for support, plays it to his left. And that's another half chance got a begging. This time the first real half chance up the other end. And it's one no doubt they'd want back, because Faris Ramley, well, was he offside or onside? It was 50-50 on that camera angle. I think in hindsight, Faris Ramley might have preferred to go alone there. Songul Yong, of course, who is currently joint top scorer with the new signing for Albrecht, Kiyoshiro Tsuboi, both with 3 goals this season. Songul Yong with 1 here in the 3-3, and then a brace in midweek. 2 players scored a brace for the Sailors on Wednesday. Stipe and Songul Yong. Flag's going to stay down here if this takes a bounce in favour of the Cheetahs, and Hassan Sunny does the right thing. Didn't want to get too cute there, and he's chasing back towards his goalie track. He wants to take it quickly. Gilberto. And having had that chat with my dear colleague Roshan Ray on Wednesday, I had a chat with Gilberto Fortunato in the dressing rooms earlier, and I can confirm he wants to be known as Gilberto. So we're happy to oblige here in the AIA Singapore Premier League, just beyond Shawal Anwar on that occasion. This is some start from Hougang. Sailors would cook out the blocks against Tampines, racing into a 2-0 lead by this point in proceedings last Saturday. Slow starters in midweek as they just nulled the defensive nous of Tanjong Pagar before overwhelming the Jaguars in the second half. But here, the Cheetahs are giving them a game. Obviously, they had problems last season as the Cheetahs. They lost Stipe Plazivat to the Sailors, of course. Then there was that unnecessary incident, I think, towards the end of the season where their 2 foreign players, Zach Anderson and Charlie Mackle, refused to play on. I don't actually say something that's not factually correct, but when the season was delayed, they declined to carry on, if you like. Obviously, there were contractual issues in the midst there, so you have to be fair to the players. Well, that's a high foot by Plazivat, who himself, of course, was involved in an ugly incident when he caught Tofak Sapano on his head here against the Stags a week ago. He's already caught one to the face himself, of course, courtesy of Gilberto. But yes, that season last year for Hougang, it started with so much promise, that AFC Cup appearance after their wonderful campaign the season before. AFC Cup, of course, was cancelled in the end because of COVID, and they really did fade away, only briefly in the AFC Cup qualification places themselves last season. But you have to give credit to Clement Thiaw and the team at Hougang, because they've rebuilt very well already. Vidmar mentioned it in the pre-match interview, and so far, they're actually looking the better of the 2 teams here. Can it hold out for the 90 minutes, though? Can they make this pressure tell? Farhan Zulkifli's cross. Stipe Plazivat battling with Lionel Tan, whose call-up to the international squad is much warranted, I think. He looks in fine physical condition and certainly worthy of an international call-up. Flick on by Tomoyuki Doi. That's where you really need Doi and Gilberto to have been playing for months rather than weeks. That Gilberto could have anticipated that, because the spine of this Hougang team, you have to say now, is Yamazaki and Tomoyuki Doi. They're going to be doing lots of work side to side in the middle of the park and up top. And of course that gives a lot of luxury to players like Shawal Anwar and Gilberto Fortunata, because that engine room in the midfield for Hougang now of Fabian Kwok and Yamazaki really is impressive. It's over the top. They've not been able to get in behind this Hougang defence, save that one effort from Faris Ramley that went to begging. And if you're Clement Thiaw and Aurelio Vidmar, no question it's not that man that's the happiest of the 2 coaches. It'll be Clement Thiaw. Of course, one thing, if you're managing the Sailors and you're not happy with the performance of your team, you literally do have a wealth of talent on the bench to call upon. Just let me read you through the outfield players on the bench for the Sailors tonight. Abdil, Diego Lopez, $3 million worth. On the bench, if you don't mind. Hafiz Noor, Nakudin Yunus, Gabriel Quack and Adam Swandy. Quack-Swadley and Lopez, well, if you're looking for goals, there's probably not three better players in the division you could call upon to try and get one. Certainly there won't be three stronger players in anyone's bench over this match day 3. Just has to work and do something here, Farhan Zulkifli. He's being pestered by Akari. Does enough to win the throw. Well played. Well, they've had the better of the first quarter of an hour. Not got the lead. Tomoyuki Doi, if he's just joining us, going the closest, forcing a fine save from Hassan Sunny. Can the Sailors make it pay with only really their second foray into enemy territory? Song Yong gets it back to Jalan, gets it back to Tajeli, who gets it all the way back to Hassan Sunny. Well, they showed in midweek they're not necessarily in a rush. Doesn't matter what the score is at half-time, it's what the score is at full-time that counts. Obviously, they were 2-1 in front at half-time against Tampines here a week ago and only got a 3-3 draw. 0-0 against Tanjung Pagar, 1-5-0. Lovely turn. Song Yong plays it through the middle. Stipe could get goal side, and he did just enough to put him off Lionel Tan, and Mukundam reacted well. Tan. Yamazaki making himself available. First touch from Gilberto, and they'll win a free kick. Just a little nibble there by Tajeli, I think. One other incident we should mention. I mean, it's nice to be able to say it, but it can't go on, can it? We've had 35 goals across the 8 games so far. That's an average of 4.375 goals per game, and we've had no red cards across the 8 games, and that's an average of no red card per game. I do that bit of maths for free. But I think generally, as always, the referees get their fair share of attention. Doesn't matter where the football is, that's always the case, but mentioned it once, so it's worth mentioning again. We'll obviously criticise where it's required, but Nathan Chan, a great performance as the man in the middle in that Hougang game at the Hougang Stadium in midweek. Let's hope there's an equally good game to come today from Juhaman Zaiton, who, to his credit, haven't had to talk about it much so far, and that could always be a good thing. Song Yong with a first-time ball. Faris Rowley's offside this time. Flags up, won't go any further. Clement Teo there, nearest to us. Well, he was marginal there. He got away with one previously where I thought he was onside. Or offside, I should say there. I thought he was on. Mukundam. Yamazaki. Works so hard, Yamazaki. At times, he's almost playing as a sweeper here. A player like that, great luxury to be able to have. And he'll, of course, want to prove a point, having been ditched is the wrong word, but certainly not retained by the Lion City Sailors. Their loss, of course, Hougang's gain. Part of that conveyor belt of players who win the title with Albirex Nagata and then go on to other clubs. That's a tradition dating back to Yuichi Ichikawa, who of course is still playing for Jalan. Now Idraki's in business again down the right. Almost feels sorry for Idraki that this international call-up's not being treated as a call-up, more of just an opportunity to train. Disappointed as well not to see Harith Kanadi's name there, the Jalan international player who's been impressing this season, even though he's on the losing side in midweek. Lionel Tan with an ambitious pass, but it finds its target. And Gilberto gets the deflection. It'll be another corner. And again, they'll be sending Max up for this. You know the delivery is going to be good from Yamazaki. And again, Hougang remain the better side in this game. Still goalless, incidentally, at our Tampines hub. Jalan International 0, the Young Lions 0. Kicking off simultaneously to this one. Lionel Tan in that area with the likes of Maxat. Gilberto's making real movement up against Stipe again, goes deep. Hassan Sunny comes, doesn't get their chance. Oh, it's got in! And it's Lionel Tan, and they deserve the lead. Hassan Sunny, having made one great save already in this match, was at full there. And Lionel Tan capitalises. And the Cheetahs have come to the Sailors and taken a first half lead. It better be all hands on deck now, because it's Lion City Sailors 0, Hougang United 1. Hassan Sunny has to get more ready, but he comes like that. And quite frankly, it was as simple as Lionel Tan reacting quicker than Amaral. They tried to stop it on the line, but couldn't do so. And Lionel Tan celebrates his international call-up with a goal that gives Hougang United the lead at the home of the Lion City Sailors. And it's no more than they deserve, quite frankly. Well, they're picking up here where they left off on Wednesday night. Hougang, 2 goals in the last 10 minutes. And there's the loose pass as well. Hassan Sunny's not got there again. Tomoyuki Doi is going to be 2. Hassan Sunny's having a shocker. And Tomoyuki Doi is passed. And Hougang have done to the Sailors what the Sailors did to Tampines here a week ago. They scored twice in less than a minute. And what on earth does Aurelio Vidmar do now? Shocking defending, shocking goalkeeping, and Hougang United get what they deserve, just as the Lion City Sailors do when they defend like that. Tomoyuki Doi. With his 3rd goal in a week, he goes to the joint top of the scoring charts. And what on earth does Aurelio Vidmar do here? Hassan Sunny's put up full for both goals. Singapore's #1 is having a nightmare. And the only problem for Hougang is there's still 70 minutes on the clock. Tomoyuki Doi. The second Hassan Sunny lost out on that 50-50, there was only going to be one outcome. Well, I hope you're enjoying this Saturday night Sunset Football Live from the AIA Singapore Premier League. An extraordinary opening quarter of this game. But can the Sailors get straight back into business? Here they come with Saifullah, and at least they'll get their first corner of the game, and that's about as good as it's got to this point. Good grief. I don't think anyone saw this scoreline coming. As impressive as Hougang were on Wednesday, the Sailors have got a mountain to climb. First corner, Jalan. Key, of course, for Hougang is now not to concede before half-time, and they won't be conceding with corners like that. It was a free defensive header. Goes all the way back to Akari. Now, there's Noor Adam over the top, and Gilberto Fortuna's got some empty space in front of him, and he'll win a throw. Sailors wanted it their way, but assistant referee over on that far side disagrees. Just interesting to note the goals officially registered in the 90th, 19th and 20th minutes. Extraordinary start here. They've been the better team. This is no fluke against the run of play. The Sailors just haven't got going. And you have to say, how could you sign a player for $3 million in a 21-game season and 3 games that he's not starting? It's puzzling. Of course, Aurelio Vidmar knows better than me, and if they go on to win this game, he'll be proved correct. Tomoyuki Doi, lovely pull Bruce. Shaolan wants to get to this. Shaolan just couldn't get his foot across it to put it across the edge of the 6-yard box. But Anwar, Doi and Gilberto are having a lot of luck and a lot of success against a very shaky-looking Lion City Sailors defence. And I mentioned the complete absence yet again this afternoon of George Felipe, the man they've brought in specifically to play on that left side of central defence. And all you can say is they'll want him fit and match ready as quickly as possible, because the defence, both against Tampines and against Hougang, who you have to say on this evidence are title contenders, has left a lot to be desired. They've conceded now 5 goals in their first 200 minutes of AIA Singapore Premier League football this season. Yes, there was a clean sheet on Wednesday, but in the final reckoning, clean sheets against Tanjung Pagar United a little more than a minor statistic. Faris Ramney with a heavy touch, and Idraki's got some empty space to run into. Idraki, Tomoyuki Doi screaming for this, but he didn't get the ball away. Instead, he goes to the middle with Fabian Kwok, spreads it out to this left-hand side, and Shawal Anwar. Well, I tell you something, if you were watching this in black and white and didn't know the colours of the shirts, you'd say it was Hougang that was the team full of million-dollar signings and the very best international players that Singapore have got to offer. An extraordinary opening to this match. Maxat. Back to Makundan, who's been foot perfect at every opportunity so far. Fabian Kwok. And it goes out. That's the first miscue from the skipper as we take the break for the water drinks interval. Midway through this first half, and it set this game up sensationally, because if you are just joining us, 2 goals in 60 seconds have put the Cheetahs in control here against the team that was second going into this fixture. Goals from a set piece, Lionel Tan from a corner, and then Tomoyuki Doi capitalising on a mistake from Hassan Sunny have given the Cheetahs the dream start here, and they've deserved it as well. That was Lionel Tan's finish. Stipe Plazibat unable to stop it going into the roof of his own net, but no question Lionel Tan will be credited with that goal. And then, literally, in the next phase of play from the restart, have a look at this from a nightmare from Hassan Sunny. And the most minimal of pressure from Tomoyuki Doi, who I'm sure was wary of conceding the free kick. He completely scuffs his lines. Tomoyuki Doi on it like a flash. No one covering Hassan Sunny either. That's very casual defending, not to even go behind your goalkeeper to anticipate the mistake. And that's the passage or passages of play that have led to that scenario. Lion City Sailors 0, Hougang United 2. And are we now a quarter of a way to the biggest shock of the season so far? Having said that, last year it was a draw in this game, 1-1 between the two teams. Yes, the Sailors did win against Hougang, but cast your mind back to 2019 when, of course, Stipe Plazibat was a Cheetah. The Hougang side in that season when they qualified for the AFC Cup actually did the treble over the Lion City Sailors, or Home United as they were known then. We're back underway then. Akari. Fabian Kwok blocked. I hope Fabian Kwok's managed to sort his captain's armband out. It did have some problems with that. That's another loose pass that Tomoyuki Doi could almost capitalise on. Stipe Plazibat pulling back. Nice ball that finds Akari. They need numbers in the middle. Akari's cross is a good one. It's cleared, and Shawal Anwar has got the time and space to jiggle it up in the air and belt it away. Idraki up against Nur Adam. Comes through to Faiz Salah. Now back to Makundan. Surprised Stipe Plazibat's not putting him under a bit more pressure, the youngster. I say the youngster, Makundan. Obviously, it's a while since we saw him in a AIA Singapore Premier League team sheet, but he did make double-digit appearances for the Warriors before they were disbanded in 2018. So he's got experience at this level, but how he's recovering from that early mistake in midweek is really impressive. And he's looked foot perfect today so far. Still goalless at OTH, Jalan International 0, the Young Lions 0. Well, if ever a stage was set for Diego Lopez to come on and start proving why they paid $3 million for him, now's the time. I would imagine Vidmar will wait till at least half-time to make a change. If it stays like this, he'll simply have to. Good work from Gilberto, but the ball finds a white shirt. The Brazilian tries to win it back and does well. Don't think he did anything wrong there, Gilberto. There's a sailor on the deck. They're entitled to play on here, Hougang. But they won't. They'll do the right thing. Even though they were entitled to play on, Farhan Zulkifli heads it out. Let's have a look here. Gilberto just being physical. And he bulldozed into Justin Hui. And I think Justin Hui may have just fallen awkwardly on that right knee. I do hope it's okay. Just looking down at the bench. Bizarrely, there are no Lion City Sailors substitutes warming up. You've got a player on the deck with a knee injury, and there's no sailor warming up, which again I find strange. Looks like Justin Hui is going to be okay. He went down as if he'd been shot there, maybe just stunned at the presence and physical power of Gilberto. Sailors quite sportingly give it all the way back to Mukundun, who's able to pick it up and release it with Maxat. Oh, Maxat back to Mukundun. And that's inviting unnecessary pressure, and Mukundun slips up. Soguyong for another, squares it, plays it out, they can't put it away. Comes to Faris Ramley, and a great save from Mukundun, who redeems himself. But what on earth was Maxat thinking? Asking for trouble, tippy-tapping the football in that situation, and having made the mistake, Mukundun made amends, but it's still a corner. Soguyong, he had the time to get that onto his favoured foot and bury it, chose not to. And another great save from Mukundun, carrying on from some of the saves he made in midweek. Meanwhile, corner to the Sailors, headed away. They're getting to all these 50-50 balls first at the moment, Hougang. That's come off Lionel Tan, I think, and he's behind for another corner. Well, it's very difficult to say a team is disadvantaged by being 2 goals in front, but in a strange way, maybe the only problem Hougang have got here is this lead's come too early, because the Sailors can't possibly be this bad for the next 60 minutes. Nice touch over the top, but only goes as far as Noor Adam. Noor Adam's got that man over on that left-hand side, and there are plenty of white shirts in the middle here. Cross comes in, well blocked, stood up really strong there, Idraki, to block the cross. Stipe Plazibat trying and failing to win a corner. They got it away, and Tomoyuki Doi is here, you know, and they're away again. Gilberto, not much support. Tomoyuki Doi's got ground to make up. Look at Cheryl Anwar herring down the left-hand side. Gilberto into the area. Still Gilberto, can he square it back? He can, but Tajeli's there to clear it. They needed to break with a little bit more pace there, Hougang, and they could have caught the Sailors out again. Meanwhile, at the other end, business picking up here, folks. Don't go anywhere. 14 minutes to the break, still Sailors nil, Hougang 2. More strong work in midfield from Kaishu Yamazaki, the ex-Sailor. And Clement Teo applauding his team on the sideline. Will be delighted with what he's seeing so far. Speaking of being delighted, I would imagine that Philip Orr will be pleased that it's still Geylang nil, Young Lions nil at our Tampines hub. Early indications are that the Lions are going to be more competitive this season as well. Lionel Tan. Well, that's a waste. If you're going to go over the top like that, you need to go on one of the flanks, because Cheryl Anwar is having some success against Akari. Of that, there's little doubt. Here's Soguyong. They're just starting to impose themselves more in midfield now, the Lion City Sailors. They were losing those midfield battles through the first quarter of this game. They're starting to knock it about a bit more purposefully now, but has too much damage been done? Remember, they scored 5 goals in the second half against Tanjung Pagar United. And I think as evidenced by that counter-attack that fizzled out for Hougang, the only problem Hougang have got is they may start sitting back a little bit too much. But Clement Teo is a shrewd tactician, and the first point of order will be to make sure they go into half-time with still this 2-goal lead intact, or maybe even more. Because on the evidence of what we've seen so far, yes, that was that misfire by Mukundun when he was put in a bit of bother by Maxat, but you're watching this at home. Leave us a comment in the comment section. Who do you think looks the more foot-sure defence out of these two teams through the first half an hour? Itraki's in. Itraki driving through a goal. Itraki! Another half chance. They're coughing them up with regularity, the Lion City Sailors. Soguyong. The offside he is, and again, that's just too casual. He was completely static there, Justin Hui, and all he had to do was look across the line to know he would be offside. Well, after a season last year that was obviously interrupted by COVID, but had its own problems with the departure of Stipe and the departure late in the season of Charlie Mackel and Zach Anderson, Hougang went out into the transfer market. They brought in Gilberto Fortunata, they brought in Tomoyuki Doi, and they brought in Yamazaki. And boy, oh boy, are those three making a difference at the moment. Notwithstanding, of course, they've still got Anders Aplin, who's on the bench today, who we haven't seen for a while. Anders, of course, the former Jalan player. Maxat's got work to do here, and Mukunda does really well, but needs some help here. The referee was obstructing Fabian Kwok. What a save by Mukunda! Well, that would have been a controversial goal, and it got in because the referee obstructed Fabian Kwok. He's trying to get back to defend that. But Mukunda again. What a start to this season that boy's having after the disaster of that early mistake on Wednesday. Gilberto Idraki's onside. They brought him down. This could be a card. It's got to be a yellow card, surely. Well, Idraki was stopped in his tracks by Nur Adam, I think it was. And he was away. I wouldn't mind seeing the replay of this. First of all, the save. Quite right, we should see that first. Mukunda, look at Lionel Tan there. Fabian Kwok, I should say, just being obstructed by the referee. He needn't have worried because Mukunda stood up strong. Great save. Meanwhile, back in real time, Akari. Action coming thick and fast here. Jalan. Well, Aurelio Vidmar was at pains to point out pre-match that this was both teams' third game in a week, but of course he's had the luxury of being able to make 2 changes to the starting 11. Clement Teo stuck with the same team that won on Wednesday, and at the moment they're looking like they're going to win on Saturday as well, but a lot of time left. Yamazaki. Oh, Shawalamwa just couldn't gather that one in, and there's 10 minutes to go before half-time here. It's still Sailors 0, Hougang 2. Goals in the 19th and 20th minute by Lionel Tan and Tomoyuki Doi's third of the season, respectively. Geylang International lead at home against the Young Lions. Geylang International 1, the Young Lions 0. Another game that's available live on Singtel Star Hub, the AIA Singapore Premier League Facebook page, and all the usual social media channels as well. And now there's a Hougang player stricken on the deck. It's Shawalamwa, which will be a concern because he's a huge presence down that left flank for them. Oh, Shawalamwa not moved to this point, so I hope he's okay. I'm not sure if we could get a replay of the incident that led to this. Didn't see a player around him. As Tomoyuki Doi, the scorer of the second goal, which has given the Cheetahs some daylight, takes some liquid on board. He's now stirring at least Shawalamwa, which is a good sign. There's Maxat, who maybe made one half error where he gave Mukunda a thankless task trying to deal with the ball from feet, but other than that, defensively, even when they've made mistakes, they've atoned for them quite brilliantly. Mukunda's made 2 world-class saves. Sailors, no question, though, coming back into this slowly but surely. Stipe's going to put Mukunda under a bit of pressure here, I think. So Mukunda will pick it up. Shawalamwa's okay to continue. Mukunda. Headed up by Amaral. But Gilberto Fortunato is a real physical presence up there. A lovely foil and a lovely compliment to Tomoyuki Doi's step that's full of spring. I can tell you, it's the first goal in the AIA Singapore Premier League for Silvano Convalius. He's got the goal for Geylang that's given them the lead against the Young Lions. So Convalius has got his first goal in Singapore football. I wonder if Diego Lopez will be on the pitch to try and get his first in the second half. They're going to need him the way this is looking. They are enjoying the greater possession, though, since the water break. But they're 2-0 down, so they'd have to, you fancy. More good work from Yamazaki. Wonderful work from Yamazaki. And he's found the square ball to Tomoyuki Doi. Idraki's on the overlap. Just couldn't get the ball away, Tomoyuki Doi. But they still can't get near him. Jalan being run ragged, and he's gone down there. That should be a free kick. No. Well, he went down a bit theatrically, but he looked to be obstructed for mine. Tomoyuki Doi. Referee plays on. Clement Teo furious on the touchline. Jalan. Good sliding challenge there, and he's hurt in the process, but they'll play on. There's no question Saifulla's going to stop when you're 2 down. Clement Teo furious again, playing the 1-2. Shawalanwa, wonderful defensive work from Shawalanwa. And now the referee will go and check on the stricken Faiz Salah. Now, we'll see that. To be fair, I don't think of anything. It was a free kick to the Sailors for that incident. The one that concerned me was the one up the other end with Tomoyuki Doi. Don't think they can have too many complaints there. Hougang, it was Farhan Zulkifli rather than Faiz Salah. But if anything, he was the one that should have been penalised. Into the final 5 minutes we go, and you get the feeling, this is that Tomoyuki Doi challenge. It's a foul, isn't it? He went down, but it's definitely a foul. Jalan fortunate there, and that's why Clement Teo's furious, but he's got more of a case with that challenge than he has with the incident that's left Farhan Zulkifli on the deck. And Hougang will play a dangerous game if they try and stop the momentum of this game, because if the Sailors manage to get one back, they will be a tidal wave coming through. They've got Gabriel Quack on the bench, they've got Adam Swandy and, of course, Diego Lopez. I'd be very surprised if it stays 2-0 at half-time if Diego Lopez wasn't thrown on right at the start of the second half. We shall see. We've got our superstar Farah Nair downstairs, keeping us up to date with everything that's happening pitch side. Don't forget you can catch Farah after every round on the SPL show, highlighting all the best of the action. And we've already seen a couple of goals that will be featuring on the SPL show next week. Meanwhile, Maxat coming a long way forward. This is foreign territory for Maxat, so they've got 5 shirts back, so Maxat's not going to be missed for now, but still Sung Oyong being invited forward. Squares it to Stipe. Can Stipe pull the trigger? Gets it back to Amarul. Amarul out to this right-hand side, and Justin Hui. Justin Hui against Maxat. Maxat will have to be careful, and careful he is. That's a wonderful sliding challenge by one of the most improved players in the league, but it's another corner for the Sailors, who'll be desperate to get a goal back just before half-time. It'll be Jalan to take it. They've had a number of corners so far and haven't really made anything out of any of them. Jalan, that's a better delivery, heads her up, and it's over the bar from Amarul. That's the closest from the 4 corners they've had, the Sailors, that they have come to troubling Mukundan's goal. He's made a couple of fine saves from open play, Mukundan. Both of them really covering, you could say, his own defensive misdemeanors, but nonetheless, there were saves he had to make. And Aurelio Vidmar, well, when you're given the tools to assemble one of the best squads, it's made up, well, the majority of which is made up of Singaporeans in the history of the AIA Singapore Premier League, losing 2-0 at home at half-time against Hougang United, when you've got a $3 million man on the bench, isn't in the script. Surely Lopez will appear in the second half. He obviously made an appearance in the second half against Tanjong Pagar when they turned it round, having been 0-0 at half-time. They scored 5, so you can't rule out the Sailors yet. But Hougang just looked the hungrier. And Shawalanwa comes forward, and they've got Tomoyuki Doi and Gilberto, but Shawalanwa likes to go on his own. Shawalanwa, Tomoyuki Doi, can he get the shot away? And Draki wants it! And it's a firm defensive header by Amarul that clears the latest danger. They probably should have made more of that, Hougang. Meanwhile, up the other end, Stipe Plazovac won't get to that first. Well, does this set up a second half, or what? The Sailors, red-hot favourites to win this game, trading 2-0. Just joining us, set-piece goal scored by Lionel Tan in the 19th minute to celebrate his international call-up. Then 60 seconds later, an absolute clanger from Hassan Sunny allowed Tomoyuki Doi in. There'll be 3 minutes of time added on at the end of the first half. We're already deep into the 44th minute. Have been a couple of stoppages, injuries to Justin Hui and Jalan. An injury to Stipe Plazibat right at the start as well. So with the water break, 3 minutes probably is on the side of a little bit ungenerous from a Sailors' point of view. They'll get a set piece here though. Idraki is penalised. Can't have any complaints there by Salah. And they'll get the free kick to alleviate the pressure, which they'll be in no hurry to take as the clock ticks round to the 45th minute. So, a penny for the thoughts of Aurelio Vidmar. They're 3 games so far this season. They've led 2-1 here against Tampines a week ago, drew 3-3. 0-0 on Wednesday against Tanjung United, won 5-0. And now, looks like they're going to face a half-time scoreline trailing 2-0. Over the top, looking for Jalan, who got there first. And if only someone had anticipated him winning that header, might have paid dividends. So into the first of 3 additional minutes. Saifullah. Look how many white shirts are up forward. They're almost playing with a front 5. Jalan sitting just behind Akari, Justin Hui, Stipe and Song Uyong with Faris Ramli there as well. They're throwing numbers forward here, but Faris Ramli's not going to get to that. And Makundan, maybe he'd have been better off letting that go behind for a goal kick. I'm not so sure. Did it take a deflection? Because that's the outcome. He's passed it straight to Jalan. It'll be a travesty for Hougang if they concede right before half-time. Deflected, and Makundan kept his eyes on it well. Jalan buying a ticket to the raffle from a long way out. Makundan, I'm singing his praises, but he still sometimes makes life difficult for himself, doesn't he? You can tell there are just some nerves floating around with him. He's just a settle. Tomoyuki Doi was lurking there, so the header was an important one from Amaral. It's starting to become one-way traffic now. Stipe Plazibat looks up, and again, that sums up the Lion City Sailors' first half performance. A shade off the pace, not in sync, and quite frankly, even though they've enjoyed the lion's share of possession in the final 20 minutes of the first half, they've been second best here. Full credit to Clement Teo's boys who've picked off here where they finished off on Wednesday night in free scoring, fine footballing form. A little bit too fancy there, allows Noradon to cover, and there's some space to operate here for Saifullah. Into the final 60 seconds of time added on. The last throw of the dice for the Sailors to really set up the second half with a late goal here at the first. Just look a little bit devoid of ideas. Clement Teo's got Hougang so well organised for now, they're struggling to really break them down. Song Uyong though, running at Fabian Kwok to Saifullah. Maxat bulldozes past but can't get it away. Here's Faris Ramli, ducking inside. Can he get the shot away? Lays it back. And it's over the bar from Saifullah, and that'll be their last opportunity, you fancy, of this opening stanza. The Sailors played the first 20 minutes like victory would be a mere formality, but Hougang had different ideas, and the goals when they came had been coming. 19th minute effort from Lionel Tan from a corner, and then a Hassan Sunny Howler capitalised on by Tomoyuki Doi. And that's what they're being reduced to, really. They've struggled to get players in behind the defence. The chances they have had, the great chances they've had, have really come from defensive errors from Hougang. They've not played themselves into those chances, and when they have made mistakes, Makundan has bailed both himself and his other defenders out. A fascinating first 45 minutes, which has seen the Cheetahs in the ascendancy. They lead the Sailors by 2-0. Lionel Tan and Tomoyuki Doi with his 3rd of the season, the goal scorers. So here, the Sailors with work to do, and will we see the $3 million man when the teams emerge for the start of the second half? Stay with us to find out. You're watching live AIA Singapore Premier League football on this sunset Saturday. 2-0, the Cheetahs lead at the break. Sailors in the second stanza. That's because they trail by 2-0 in a incredible first half, really, after the Sailors put 5 past Tanjung Pagar United in the second half. We expected them to come out firing, but it was the Cheetahs who put a barrel load through Jalan in the second half in midweek that took the initiative. That was Tomoyuki Doi's effort right at the start of the game inside 10 minutes, where they really should have been one up. Fabian Kwok unable to control on the follow-up, but that really set the tone for certainly the first half hour of the play. Tomoyuki Doi has looked electric, and he's already got 1 goal. Wouldn't put it past him getting another. On that occasion, Hassan Sunny made a great save, but Hassan Sunny's day got very bad very quickly. He wasn't anywhere near getting enough on that corner, and the new international Lionel Tan capitalised. Despite the best efforts of Stipe on the line, who's had a frustrating afternoon so far, Stipe couldn't keep it out, but Hassan Sunny has to take the blame for that one, and if he had to take the blame for that one, potentially, he most definitely takes the blame for this one. This was seconds after they'd gone 1 down. Wasn't done any favours, I don't think, defensively by Tajeli, but he's still got to get there, Hassan Sunny, and Tomoyuki Doi to make it 2-0. Tomoyuki Doi, a brace in midweek. Now 3 for the season. And again, where was the defensive cover for Hassan Sunny there? For all the money they spent, the Sailors' problems defensively still seem to be very visible. The chances they did have, the best of the chances, came from errors from Mukunda. But if you are going to make a mistake like that, if you redeem yourself like this, all's forgiven, even though it's not ideal. Fine save from Mukunda there to keep the 2-goal lead intact. But it was a pretty poor mistake, wasn't it? Shocking. Song Young should have really hit it there himself, I fancy. Tried to pass it to Stipe, and then Faris Ramley's effort well saved. Wasn't the only save he'd make either. Here, Stipe Plazibet. Mukunda gets there. Fabian Kwok controversially obstructed by the referee, but when Saifullah got it through on goal, Mukunda recovered well. From this angle, you can just see the referee colliding with Fabian Kwok there. But Saifullah, it was on target, but it wasn't enough to get past Mukunda. So that's where we're at half-time. We can check out the stats now. Well, 7 shots to 5, 3 each on target. And if you look at the raw qualities of those stats, you'd say, well, the Hougang boys have been scoring against the run of play, but quite frankly, the worst thing that could happen to Hougang, and I know it sounds funny, is that they went 2-0 up so early, because they have been on the back foot more from the fact that they've been sitting back a little. It'll be fascinating if they make the changes at the second half. Just to remind you what's happening at our Tampines Hub, another game that's live on Singtel Star Hub, the AIA Singapore Premier League social media channels and One Play Sports. It's a goal by Convalius, the new Dutch signing for Jalan. His first goal in Singapore football gives them the lead against Philippines Young Lions at half-time. Well, what's going to happen here in the second half? It's anyone's guess. Will we see Diego Lopez? We'll find out very shortly. Stay with us right here. Live Saturday night sunset football from the AIA Singapore Premier League.
AIA Vitality. Your health is every choice you make. We are part of a global wellness program with over 1.65 million members in AIA across Asia. And in Singapore, we have more than 100,000 members on AIA Vitality. Members live healthier by knowing their health through online health assessments and screenings. They improve their health by logging exercises and enjoying the rewards to keep them going. And indeed, members are making improvements in their health. Even the vitality age gap has narrowed to less than a year. Best of all, you earn points for every activity. The higher your status, the greater the rewards, including up to 15% off insurance premium on selected AIA plans. To keep you going, there is the weekly fitness challenge with personalized targets to help pace and improve your fitness. When you complete the challenge, you get a spin on the Vitality Wheel to earn Vitality Coins, which you can use at the marketplace. That's not all. You also earn AIA Vitality Points for completing these activities. And very soon, you'll be on your way to Platinum status. And we sweeten the deal further with many exciting partner benefits that you can enjoy. With AIA Vitality, nothing gets better than a healthier you. So get onto AIA Vitality today because your health is every choice you make.
Welcome back live to Jalan Besar. Well, if there was a crowd in, they'd be shell-shocked on what they've seen in the first 45 minutes. The big spending Sailors now need all hands on deck like never before. They trail the Cheetahs by 2-0 at half-time. Strikes from Lionel Tan and Tom Yuki-Doi after 2 goalkeeper mistakes by Hassan Sunny. But tellingly, I was looking out there at half-time and I didn't see Diego Lopez in the traditional substitutes warm-up. So I wonder whether Diego Lopez will start this second half. And in fact, I am told he will come on for Justin Hui and Gabriel Quack comes on for Saifullah. So 2 players who you really think would be in the first choice starting 11 of Aurelio Vidmar, all things considered, who started on the bench today, are introduced at half-time. Diego Lopez and Gabriel Quack. Gabriel Quack, of course, who got a brace here a week ago against Tampines. Can they help the Sailors turn this round? So confirmation that those 2 changes are about to be effected. Unsurprisingly, no changes by the looks of things from Clement Teo. He'll be very happy with the way his team are playing. But the greater strength and depth of the squad of Aurelio Vidmar, he fancy still might play a big part in this. Yes, they trailed 2-0, but they scored 5 goals unopposed in midweek in the second stanza against Tanjung Pagar United. But I think Hougang at the moment, the way they're playing, are a slightly different proposition, with all due respect to Tanjung Pagar United, who are definitely improving under great stewardship from Hassan Jalani and Noel Amshar, but Hougang are more the complete article. So Gabriel Quack's introduced him for the first time on his home ground this season, having made an appearance off the bench at Jurong East on Wednesday. We see Diego Lopez, a chance to see what 3 million Singapore dollars can buy you. It's not fantasy football anymore, it's the AIA Singapore Premier League, the first multi-million-dollar signing. First $1 million signing, never mind multi-million-dollar signing. Let's see what impact he can have on this game with his team trailing by 2-0. The man who was playing his trade in Portugal at Rio Ave last season. He impressed many with his touches in midweek, including Shashi Kumar, who's commentating at Jurong East. Let's see now, in what's going to have to be slightly more than a cameo, if the Sailors are going to turn this round, what he can do here. So Quack is on for Saifullah, and Diego Lopez replaces Justin Hui. So on paper, you have to say it's clearly a stronger 11 for the Sailors in this second half, but it's going to have to be because they were second best for large periods of that opening stanza. Our referees missed a couple of things, but I think by and large he's had a good game. Herman Zaiton gets us underway. It's Hougang in the orange and black, left to right. The Sailors in the white and blue, right to left. And straight away, Diego Lopez involved in some closing down. And they do look a yard sharper in the early stages of this second half. But they've passed the ball straight to Gilberto there. Tomoyuki Doi spreads it out wide to Zulkifli. And that's a free kick for the foul by Gilberto. Amaral. Tajeli. It was Tajeli that played that ball back to Hassan Sunny that the Singapore international didn't really deal with anywhere near with enough. Diego Lopez, nice release down the right-hand side, but Lionel Tan is there. And that was intelligent football by Lionel Tan. Well, I mentioned Maxat might be one of the most improved defenders in the division on the early evidence of this season. Lionel Tan's not far behind him, of course. He has been a mainstay of that Hougang defence for longer than Maxat, but his international call-up is well warranted, Lionel Tan. Looks in fine physical condition as well. And quite frankly, the difference between the two teams, you have to say at the moment, is that while both defences have made mistakes, Hougang have recovered from theirs. The Sailors haven't. Mukundan, who is 44 minutes away from his first clean sheet of the season. Diego Lopez wins it with his head. Young eventually helps the Sailors win it back. Play there. So Hougang will get the throw. Well, they were showing so much promise coming forward. I think the biggest problem Clementio's got is whether he sticks or twists here. They've shown enough to maybe go and prove they're capable of getting a third goal. Lovely over the top. Idraki could be through. Idraki goes down. No real suggestion of a penalty there. And they lose out physically. Hassan Sunny tries to release the ball quickly, but again they're crowded out of it. And again Yamazaki, the engine room of the Hougang midfield, drives them forward. Yamazaki goes for goal, blocked by the backside of Akari on that occasion. Sung Yong. Well, the immediate impetus inside the first 3 minutes of Diego Lopez, not there to see, but there's an example of the kind of strength he can show in possession, and he forces the foul from Fabian Kwok, who tries to protest his innocence, but Diego Lopez already, there's the first example, just 3 minutes into his appearance, of the extra bit of quality. He left two of them on their backside, and Fabian Kwok fouling a shadow. Faris Ramley, Stipe, back to Faris Ramley. Faris Ramley goes down, referee not interested. He got in a bit of a mix-up with Faiz there, but the referee waves play on. Tomoyuki Doi. Shielded out of it by Amaral. The only thing that you say was certain in this second half is that we'll get more goals. Who's going to score them and how many? Goodness only knows. Tajeli. He's caught unawares that down, Diego Lopez. Fabian Kwok. Through ball, too much on it. He knew that Diego Lopez was bearing down on him, and it comes back to Hassan Sunny. Of course, having seen his opposite number make some changes, there'll be a thought process for Clement Teo as to when he maybe considers making some of his. He's got Anders Aplin, who's on his way back to full fitness, on the bench to call upon defensively. Hafiz, who of course made a goal-scoring contribution, I should say, off the bench on Wednesday. But as long as the player's fitness holds out, why would you want to change things the way things are? I suppose common sense dictates they'll have to make at least a couple. Only made two, incidentally, of the 3 substitutions he's allowed on Wednesday, as Lion City Sailors gave that quite easily. Nice chest down from Gilberto, finds Fabian Kwok. Gilberto again. Oh, that's a mistake, and he gets away with it that time. Does Lionel Tan, but you wouldn't want to be doing that in front of Stipe Plazibat too often. Early stages in the season, of course, but 21 games in the campaign this year, of course, it being a 3-round season. But should they lose here, The Sailors will be 2 points behind Albrechts. With Albrechts' game in hand, it's a winnable game for them at home to Balestier Khalsa tomorrow. And not only that, win for Tampines tomorrow would then put Tampines ahead of the Sailors, who they're behind at the moment by virtue of goal difference. The Sailors' goal difference boosted healthily by that 5-0 second-half performance against Tanjung Pagara on Wednesday. Nice turn, Tomoyuki Doi looking for it in the middle. Tracky just couldn't get there this time. Playing with very much a back 5 at the moment, Hougang, which is going to lead to them being overrun a little bit in midfield. They've just got to be careful that Stipe Plazibat and Faris Ramli don't get in behind them. That really was the main factor from their success in the first half. Whatever the Line City Sailors tried to do, they just couldn't get in behind them. The chances they had, the Gilted's chances, came from defensive mistakes, really. There was no free-flowing football that produced goals that were quite wonderful to watch against Tampines a week ago. They haven't been able to replicate that here this afternoon so far. 6 minutes of this second half gone. Oh, my word. It's a dangerous pass. Maxat showing great composure to play them out of it. The Sailors definitely upping their intensity, but they had to, really. Faiz. And all of a sudden it's up with Hassan Sani at the other end. Chardin. Diego Lopez having plenty of touches. We haven't seen the one inspirational goal-making moment from him in this one just yet. Oh, Gilberto. Pinched that well, Gilberto. Tomoyuki Doi waits in the middle. Gilberto leaves the ball behind, and you have to say that was a wonderful tackle by Akari over on that far side. Now, Diego Lopez gets it to Faris Ramli. Lopez getting in an advanced position. This is danger for Hougang. Faris Ramli shot was never curling back quick enough, and that was with white shirts up in support, including Diego Lopez, who looks at Faris Ramli as if to say, I gave it to you, I wanted it back. If the Sailors are reduced to those kind of efforts from now to 90 minutes, Clementia and the Cheetahs will be happy. He had options here. And you can see there, look at the hands outstretched from Diego Lopez saying, I wanted that back. Already, the referee having to have a quick chat with Makundan, I think. Surely not dealing with time wasting with just 7 minutes gone in the second half. They're inviting them forward here. And now there's a late whistle for the foul by Maxat. Diego Lopez wants to get on with it quickly. Diego Lopez plays it quickly to Faris Ramli. Stipe waits in the middle. Diego Lopez as well. Over the top, and Makundan just tracked back well enough to get it under no pressure, it must be said. Now, Tomoyuki Doi wants it. Awkward bounce to deal with through the middle this. Playing it back to Hassan Sani, and there's no appetite at all from Tomoyuki Doi to chase that one down, despite Hassan Sani being indirectly responsible for the 2 goals that Hougang scored. I say indirectly, certainly partially responsible. There was still work to do for Tomoyuki Doi for the second. Kari. Just hustling Gilberto. Really gives them a physical presence up front, Gilberto. Doesn't give the defenders any peace. Nurado. Diego Lopez first time, and it's beyond Faris Ramli. They're not clicking just yet, Diego Lopez and his new chums. And again, Hougaang's biggest issue here at the moment, the way they're playing, is not the Sailors, it's the clock, really. Because it looks to me they are, to a certain extent, just trying to sit back and play this out, and that's a difficult proposition. But the way Gilberto and Tomoyuki Doi are being so lively, there still remains a chance that they could nick the third on the breakaway, and then it really would be lights out. There was an incredible game in the J-League in Japan earlier on today. Consadole Sapporo with 3-0 up early in the second half against Vissel Kobe, trailed 4-3, so miracle comebacks do happen, but they're few and far between. At the moment, no miracle required. It's 2 goals, which is pretty significant, but not insurmountable, as Stipe Plazibat this time, with the foul on Maxat, gives away the free kick. They take it quickly back to Makundan. They seemed very keen to give it to Makundan from feet. And look at the distance he's got on that. Might come to Gilberto and does. He's got Idraki ahead of him. Gilberto holding it up, looking to see where Tomoyuki Doi is. There he is. So Tomoyuki Doi now. Shawalanwa waits in the middle. Just need to see them be a little bit more adventurous in those situations. They can't seriously expect to hold the ball up in midfield for 35 minutes and not score. But hang on a second. Tomoyuki Doi with a clear shot through at goal. Tomoyuki Doi! Great save, Hassan Sunny. Should really be 3-0 there. They stood off Tomoyuki Doi. And this time Hassan Sunny does produce a moment of the kind of goalkeeping that we know he's capable of. He had Idraki in support there, Tomoyuki Doi, but I suppose he was entitled to go for the shot. Meanwhile, the first corner of the second half. And it was a corner in the first half early on that led to them making their first breakthrough. And it was courtesy of a Yamazaki outswinger on that occasion. Yamazaki. Ooh, head went up there to flick it on. And it's another corner. I think that's to the surprise of both sets of players, really. And has he changed his mind? Yes, he has. The referee initially gave a corner, now changes his mind. Our referee today, Mr. German Zaiton. So 11 minutes in. And no evidence thus far that the Sailors are in their groove to score the 3 goals it would require, a minimum of 3 goals it would require here to take maximum points. But hold on a second, Gabriel Quack's in with his pace. Gabriel Quack could put it back to Plazibat. Quack goes on his own, and the shot is comfortably blocked. Comes to Faris Ramley. Gets it back to Nuradam. Through the middle, looking for Plazibat. Finds Gabriel Quack, wonderful sliding tackle, and he had to be spot on there and was. Idraki, though, gives it away. More defending needed. Faris Ramley thinks he's seen Makundan off his line, and nobody attacking. Houggang's inexperienced keeper in that situation. Surprising. It was lost in the quick counter back there, but full marks to Faiz for that sliding tackle that had to be absolutely spot on and was. Still, Geylang 1, Young Lions 0 at OTH. More action at OTH tomorrow, where Tampines take on Tanjung Pagar. I'm looking forward to going to Jurong East to see my first look of the season at the champions, Albirex Niigata against Balestier. Every game live on Singtel Star Hub, the AIA Singapore Premier League Facebook page and OnePlay Sports. Nice chest down by Gilberto. Gets Idraki at the races, but Idraki just puts too much on himself there, and he's starting to look maybe a little bit fatigued, Idraki. Clement Teo's got to produce a balancing act here. Doesn't want to be overrun by virtue of having tired players in the pitch. Now Hafiz is stripped off and ready to come on, so they are about to make a change. Hougang, interesting to see what they do here. Hafiz, of course, who played... Oh, they've got a third! Tomoyuki Doi out of nothing! The Sailors have been caught with their trousers down again, and Hougang have taken full advantage. Goodness gracious me, Tomoyuki Doi, 2 on the night, 4 on the season. And it looked very innocuous. Sailors all over the place defensively. Hassan Sunny didn't see it coming. Goodness gracious me, Tajeli very half-hearted, and they have got a third. Well, that's what you get. You bring a $3 million signing on, and Hougang say, no drama. Hold my coffee. And they go and make it 3-0. And I have to say, this is a shocking performance from the Lion City Sailors, as bad as I've seen them under Aurelio Vidmar. At their best, they're sublime. We're seeing them at their worst today. And with half an hour to go, they've now got a mountain to climb as Hafiz does come on. Hafiz for Idraki started to look very tired. Well, it just looks so innocuous. The Sailors looked out on their feet defending that. It's 3-0. Could it get worse? Gilberto looking for Tomoyuki Doi on a hat-trick. He's now the AIA Singapore Premier League's leading goal scorer. Tomoyuki Doi with 4. Was 3 behind Plazibat in the scoring charts last season. And Stipe Plazibat, of course, he's got 2 for the season. He got a brace on Wednesday, then let Faris Rowney take the penalty that would have given him his hat-trick. Extraordinary. Well, I'm just looking down to the Sailors bench, and well, if you're Albrecht Nagata watching this, the defending champions, you're not going to be scared by what you're seeing from the Sailors. You'll be more concerned at how well Hougang have played on Wednesday and Saturday. Nur Adam inside, Hafiz. His first contribution. Chardin's had a very quiet game. Gabriel Quack, and they've lost that again. They've been losing out in all the 50-50s, Alliance City Sailors. They had a decent spell in the final 15 minutes of the first half, but couldn't make the breakthrough, and they've come out in the second half again. It was almost like, well, Diego's on now. Magic will happen, but it's a team game, this. Doesn't matter how much ability Diego Lopez has got. You can't win matches when you're defending like the Sailors have been defending today. And let's get it right, that was their Achilles heel last season as well. Clean sheets, hard to come by. As they go down looking for a hopeful free kick there, and Faiz belts it away. On the balance of play, this is no freak scoreline. Hougang have been the better side for the most part. They're more adventurous, more composed, and more in tune with what they want to do together as a team. Diego Lopez over the top looking for Plazibat. He chests it down brilliantly, and again, Lionel Tan is there, but he's conceded a corner. I wouldn't mind seeing a replay of that. Lionel Tan was convinced that the last touch came off Plazibat. They take it quickly before the referee can change his mind. Plazibat launches a dangerous ball in, but it's over everyone behind for a goal kick, and still Lionel Tan protests. That should have been a goal kick to begin with. Big news from OTH. The Young Lions have levelled it up. Gaelic International 1, the Young Lions 1. Philippores comeback Kid Kings, who came back from 3-1 down here against Balestier last week, and now 1-1 at OTH against Galag. A penny for the thoughts of Aurelio Vidmar. He's already used 2 of his permitted 3 changes. Could still bring on Adam Swandy. He's the most attacking option they've got left on the bench. But never mind Diego Lopez. The way they're playing, it could bring on Diego Maradona, and they still wouldn't win this game. Amaral. Chardin. Chardin, it's deflected, and Makundan should get to this, and it's shielded well to him. Well, how about that? Bearing in mind Makundan's season started with a howler after 4 minutes that let Amy score on Wednesday. He's now just 27 minutes away from keeping a clean sheet against the giants of the Lion City Sailors. Faris Rowney's on the overlapping run. Song Yong has to go back, and he gets it back to Chardin. Chardin again, and an acrobatic clearance. 10 out of 10 for technical prowess there from Fayez, but it did find a white shirt in the end. Near side. It comes to Nur Adam. Nur Adam, he's going to be hustled out of it, and Tomoyuki Doi goes down. Well, he's bought that Tomoyuki Doi. He might be a little bit fortunate because he'd lost it with the touch, but they've had plenty of decisions go against them, and now it's going to be the first card, I'm assuming, for a bit of back chat. And is that Chardin that's gone in the book there, is it? I think it's Chardin he showed the card to. We'll get confirmation, but I believe it was Chardin who was shown yellow, maybe for dissent. The camera focusing on Nur Adam, who committed the foul, but I've got a feeling it was Chardin who was shown yellow. We'll get confirmation. Our superstar Farah downstairs will get confirmation on that. That's the first yellow card of the game as well. Diego Lopez. Stipe. Faris Ramley. Well, I'm being told that card was to Noradam. I wouldn't mind getting a double check on that because it looked to me that it was initially pointing at Jalan. But we'll check. Officially from the word from the fourth official is it's Noradam, but confirmation will follow. Over the top, Song Uyong, edge of the area, Song, Stipe, pulls it back over the bar from Gabriel Quack. Well, if they are going to produce a miracle here for maybe another 3-all draw, the goal's got to come. The first goal's got to come soon, you fancy. Gabriel Quack's first real effort on goal. Got 2 this season already. That's no real choice, but for Aberall to head that out for a throw. Faiz with the throw for Hougang, who have been the better team. More fight, more hunger. And there's an element of suggesting here, obviously still 24 minutes to go, so it could all change. A game's over 90 minutes, not 66. But you have to say, the way he set his team up here, Clement Teo's out-coached already of Vidmar here. Just got his team really into this game from the get-go. And at times they just look more disciplined in a strange way, more knowing what their teammates are going to do than the Sailors. And he set them up brilliantly defensively. You can count on one hand, or one couple of fingers, the number of times they've been able to get behind Hougang, the Sailors, today. And contrast that with how many times they got in behind Tampines last week. Over the top, looking for Tomoyuki Doi, who's ploughing a lone fallow up front now. Faris Ramley. Oh, nice ball from Faris Ramley. Now Diego Lopez. This is Diego Lopez's first goal in Singapore football. Not if Lionel Taylor has anything to say about it. Good block, because that looked goalwards. Well, they're finally picking up the pace as they did in the second half of the first half. But 23 minutes to score at least 3 goals. Oh, that's not the most convincing clearance from a corner. Comes back to Noradam. He'll drift it in again. Needs to be an orange head that gets to it. It goes behind and it'll be a goal kick. Referee are judging that. I think Song got the touch on that. And that will soak up some more seconds. Well, we've got a glimpse there of what Diego Lopez is potentially capable of in attack, but doesn't matter how much money you cost. At the end of the day, he needs to fit into a cohesive team unit. And he's already booked him once, I think. He's already booked him once, didn't he? No, it was a talking to the last time. I had my heart in my mouth there. I just recalled him talking to Mukundan, but it was only a talking to that time. And he's booked him now, so there'll be no more time wasting. Crikey, that would have been a bit of drama. It wasn't, of course, because moments ago it was the first yellow card that we believe went to Noradam. I'm still not convinced it wasn't shown to Jalan, but Mukundan now adds his name in the book. And that is probably good officiating, I think you'd have to say, by German Zaiton, because now, of course, he eradicates Mukundan messing around with the goal kicks between now and 90 minutes. So he set his stall out on that. Full marks to the official. Faris Ramley. Over the top, Route 1 stuff. And they might pick up the second phase here. No, they do in the end. Stipe Plazibat pinches it off the toes of Farhan Zulkifli. Diego Lopez now out wide. Gets it over the top to Gabriel Quack. Gabriel Quack, look at the space Stipe's in. Stipe, Lopez. Maybe one pass too many on that occasion. Oh, lovely turn from Sharon Anwar. And now Gilberto's got some space to run into. Tomoyuki Doi, Hafiz in support as well. Looking for the run of Tomoyuki Doi, who's bundled over and wins a free kick. Frustrations maybe starting to settle in to the Lion City Sailors. Speaking of frustrations, Geylang International 1, Young Lions 1. Noor Ali off the back of that 4-1 defeat, which I suppose on the face of it is looking a lot better now than it did on Wednesday when they lost 4-1 to Hougang. They've been wanting to beat the Young Lions. Philippo's team is showing battling qualities this season, which could stand them in good stead. They were 1-0 down at half-time. The Young Lions back on level terms, and it's Kyrin Nadin, the youngster. Well, they're all youngsters, aren't they, at the Young Lions, but he's particularly young. With the equaliser, 1-1. Meanwhile, if Hougang get a fourth, good grief. Set-piece opportunity, only 4 black and orange shirts committed forward. There are 4 of them down by the halfway line, so they'll go straight for goal. Well, not a zillion miles away from Yamazaki, but not close enough. And we'll take the second half drinks break. Well, it's a scoreline that none of us saw coming, I don't think. Everyone was talking about Hougang's 4-1 victory in midweek and saying, well, yes, Geylang maybe were poor that day, as much as Hougang were good. But Tomoyuki Doi, as the Lion City Sailors defence moved in slow motion, has potentially put these points in the column of orange and black. And a win that would see Hougang leapfrog both Tampines Rovers and the Lion City Sailors. The Stags would have a game in hand that they play tomorrow. As some of the Sailors just want to get back on with this. They're staying out on the pitch. Faris Ramley is going to be replaced by Adam Swandy. It's the final throw of the dice for Vidmar. But so far, Gabriel Quack and Diego Lopez, through almost half an hour of football, still haven't been able to do what the starting 11 couldn't do in the first 45 minutes, and that's find a way past a very well-disciplined and well-coached Hougang defence. There was a tendency, I think, in that season Hougang had in 2019 to attribute plenty of it to Stipe Plazibat's goals, and clearly he was a big factor, but we're seeing that Clement Tio's coaching, and of course notwithstanding the additions they've had in close season, are equally maybe part of their success in 2019 and 2020. But I think, Sailors included, you could give everyone a pass for what happened in 2020 with COVID and the stop-start nature of the season, as Adam Swandy is on for Faris Ramley. Still only one change made by Clement Tio, who only made 2 in the entire match on Wednesday, one of which came very late on, when Farhan was substituted with only a couple of minutes left. There's a chase for Gilberto. Hassan Sunny's not come for this, and Tajeli's done very well indeed. Good defending all round, because I'm sure Hassan Sunny was in communication with Tajeli. Here's Shardan. Gabriel Quack. So over the top. Oh, he's missed it. Might fall to Stipe on the turn. Plazibat, can he get the shot away? Still Plazibat. A lovely foot comes in from Maxa, who had to be very careful. Danger not cleared yet, though. Song Yong is lurking, and they should get this away and do now. Tomoyuki Doi. Tomoyuki Doi be able to capitalise on any Amaral mistakes here. Who does well to get it back to Hassan Sunny. Diego Lopez wanting and getting the free kick for the foul by Farhan Zulkifli. The diminutive number 15's had another great game today, just as he did on Wednesday. Maxat, another strong header from Maxat. Picked up on the turn by Adam Swandy. His first contribution looks a lively one, and Swandy wants this back. He's not going to get it. Shardan, out to Gabriel Quack with the step over. Challenge comes in, still Gabriel Quack. That went out of play, I think. Referee and assistant say no. Again, I wouldn't mind seeing a replay. In defence of the officials, there was not much protestation from the Hougang players. Here's Shardan. Back from Faiz. And Makundan. Well, they don't want to see this develop into a game of attack versus defence for the last 15 minutes, Hougang, because it only takes 1 goal, and even if there's only 3 or 4 minutes on the clock, the game's not over. That's the problem. Swandy. Song Yong over the bar again. Well, in terms of the shot count here, officially, The Lion City Sailors with only one shot on target, which is a damning indictment. Now, looking at the shot count, unofficially it's 6-5 to the Sailors. It feels like there's been more of that for both teams. But in Tomoyuki Doi, they've got a real find. I say a find, obviously we knew about it from Albrecht, but they've got a real signing, I suppose I should say. Because there has been a question mark of some of those Albrecht players in the past that have gone to other clubs and maybe not been as effective as they was when they were in the Albrecht team unit. But Tomoyuki Doi is doing the business here. He's on a hat-trick. Will he get a chance to score it? Maybe will. Gilberto is offside. That's frustrating and disappointing. Gilberto says he isn't. The assistant referee says he is. And that will prove the assistant referee just about right, though. He wasn't in line. It was 6 1/2 a dozen of the other one, that one. Swandy. He looks a yard faster than most of his teammates since his arrival, Swandy. Still can't get the killer touch in as Yamazaki ghosts that one out for a throw. Into the final 15, Wee Chunda. No Adam. Swandy. No one attacking it. No one attacking it. They put the ball on the penalty spot and there's no one going for it. Tomoyuki Doi. You still get the impression that Hougang are the most likely team to score the next goal, despite the fact they're putting 10 men behind the ball on most occasions. Tomoyuki Doi on a hat-trick. Gilberto, absolutely no support coming, and still they managed to make something happen. Tomoyuki Doi. Gilberto, and they'll take a throw. Well, they're playing with a back five. They're taking no chances here at all. Clement Teo take a bow. Unless they concede 3 goals in 14 minutes, in which I'll eat my words, this has been a masterful coaching performance, and his players have all stepped up as well. And it just goes to show that what we saw from them when they showed resilience to battle back from that early setback, going a goal down against Jalan on Wednesday, this team are the real deal in terms of the battle in the top half of the table this season. And of course, from what we've seen from Hougang now, well, I suppose at some point I have to give the Sailors the benefit of the doubt that this was just a bad day at the office, but with Tampines, Hougang, Albrechts, Jalan on their day, with maybe Balestier to show improvement, it's going to be a competitive season this year. That's headed away. Oh, that sliding challenge was a little bit naughty. Referee might come back to that. He's going to come back and maybe show a card, does he? No. He's going to give the free kick. Clement Teo doesn't like it. It was a foul, I think. Thought he might even show a card, but doesn't. And now they shouldn't be taking the free kick from there. And now there's 2 balls on the pitch. Referee still lets them play on. Gabriel Quack. Options to the left and right, and through the middle with Stipe. Diego Lopez wants it. But again, these 2 banks of 4 that Clement Teo set up. Never mind about the Great Wall of China, it's like the Great Wall of Hougang, this. Make no mistake, the Sailors haven't been bombarding their Hougang goal non-stop. No free kick there as Gilberto goes down. Another change on the way. Here's Gabriel Quack. We're going to see Anders Aplin for the final 11.5 minutes. Jalan. It's chested down by Steve. Going to get the shot away. He can, and it's wide. And you have to say, that's the closest they've come. Anders Aplin about to be introduced. Great to see him getting back to full fitness and in the AIA Singapore Premier League, one of the more classy and cultured defenders in the division. The player, of course, has had experience in Japan on loan as Stipe's only real clear-cut chance of the evening goes wide. And it will be Stipe to replace Fabian Kwok, who's run himself into the ground, and Anders Aplin will be the one charged with marshalling the $3 million man, Diego Lopez, for the final 10 and a bit minutes. Just keep you up to date with what's happening at our Tampines hub. Still 1-1. Jalan International 1. The Young Lions 1. There's Anders Aplin, itching to get back into the fray, I'm sure. And he's coming on with his team, at the moment, doing a lap of honour. They're not having to work incredibly hard to keep the 3-goal lead up. It's a free kick for the pullback by Gilberto. Looks to me to be maybe just tiring a fraction, Gilberto. Swandy takes it quickly. Stipe inside. Another sliding challenge. My God, Max, that's a committed defender, isn't he? Goodness gracious me. Diego Lopez, time for a bit of magic. Diego Lopez, edge of the area. Lopez goes down. Nothing doing. Just another example of what we've seen all day long from Hougang. Strong, committed, and for the most part, legal defending to completely blunt the triple-pronged attack of the Lion City Sailors. And again, on the chase back this time, it's Anders Appler with his first contribution to take it out of play. Adam Swandy had a bit of a nibble at him there, did Hafiz. Was fortunate that Swandy stayed on his feet. Jalan. Tajeli. Sogol-Yong. Heavy touch from Sogol-Yong. He might pick it up the second phase as well. They left it behind them there. Anders Appler didn't anticipate correctly. Adam Swandy. Oh, nice turn from Swandy. Needs some help here, though. Comes out to Jalan. Well, this is turning into an attack against defence training session here, and it's the defence at the moment coming up well on top. And there's another example. Anders Appler. That's intelligent football. Gilberto will get to this first. Now, where's Tomoyuki Doi, the hat-trick boy? Gilberto beats his man and will get to the ball before it goes out of play. Gilberto looks up, needs help. Anders Appler's there. He squares it to Yamazaki. Tomoyuki Doi. Gilberto through on goal, goes down. Referee not interested. That was the fall of a tired player for mine, and the referee made the right call. Yamazaki charges down the intended clearance from Tajeli. Sogol-Yong, and that's a lovely weighted pass by Sogol-Yong. Might come to Stipe, he's going to score this time. No, he's not! He's put it wide! Well, that is Lion City Sailors' night in a nutshell. They just seem destined not to score. Mukunda now just 8 minutes away. From a clean sheet against the Sailors in just his second appearance of the campaign. Oh, that was a heavy touch, a little bit casual from Farhan Zulkifli there. He's fortunate to get away with it. I think the Sailors have raised the white flag here. I don't think there's the belief that they could get 3 goals in 7.5 minutes. Swandy. Swandy 1-2. Noor Adam nearly came through to Diego. Hacked away by Lionel Tan. Gilberto's there again, Gilberto, and he's going to get to this, the Brazilian, eventually crowded out of it. Haven't seen a hat-trick yet in the AIA Singapore Premier Leagues. We've had plenty of braces, Gabriel Quack and Stipe and Sogol-Yong amongst them this season. Tomoyuki Doi, who's now got a pair of braces. 2 on Wednesday, 2 on Saturday, and could still get the hat-trick here. Gilberto, Tomoyuki Doi. He's going to get to this first, is he? No, Tajeli just about does enough. But the belief has been sucked out of the Sailors by a very disciplined and committed Hougang defensive display. They've been good value for this 3 points. And very early on in the campaign, you have to say this is a candidate for the coaching performance of the season in terms of the way he set Hougang up. He did say in the pre-match interview they were going to be cautious, but they came forward early. We believe in ourselves. We believe we can beat the Sailors. Let's get the goals to prove it. They were helped by Hassan Sunny's Howlers, but they were the team, the only team so far that scored in the second half as well, and they've soaked up plenty of the Sailors' pressure without really having to face a bombardment on their own goal. Here's Adam Swandy. He's looked lively, Swandy. Mukunda spills it, and now they get the goal back. Stipe. Well, Mukunda with the error, that means there'll be no clean sheet. And with 5.5 to play, is there a twist in the tail? Stipe Plasibat with his 3rd of the season. Adam Swandy, of all the substitutes, Diego Lopez included, he's looked the most effective, and you have to say Makundan, well, he is prone to mistakes. He's made up for them in the first half quite brilliantly, but if you keep on making them, you're going to pay the price, and that was, considering how well he's defended today, that was a very poor goal to concede. And now, of course, I said that the belief was seeping out the Sailors. There's a glimmer for them. If they were to get the second one quickly, I just don't believe they think they can do it. And Tomoyuki Doi probably believes he's got a chance of a hat-trick. Tomoyuki Doi goes down. No free kick, and Noor Adam will be able to tidy this up with Amaral. Well, Phil for Makundan, but if they end up throwing this match away, you cannot make those kind of mistakes that Makundan made there. Just put it for them on a silver platter, and they're coming forward again here. It's a cross, it's Stipe again. And Hafiz does enough just to get it away. Bit of a coming together in the penalty area with Stipe involved again. And there's a Hougang player in some discomfort here. It's good work from Akari. Stipe, is it Maxat that he's got in a tangle with? This angle might be better. Well, it might be Maxat. No, Maxat's up okay. Who is it? Farhan down there. Looks in some discomfort with the ankle. Of course, now they've got that one goal. Time added on, of course, brings about an extra significance. There's probably not been as many stoppages in the second half as there was in the first, but you get the drinks break, the substitutes, probably staring down the barrel of a minimum of 4 minutes. Clement Teo, understandably now, just a little bit antsy, much to the concern of the assistant referee, Andy Tan, and the fourth official, who I'm sure has been busy down there, Mohamed Taufik Tana. And of course, they have got one change you can still make. It was Faiz that was injured on the deck. The last thing we want to do is be playing with 10 men here, because even though we're inside the final 3 minutes of the 90, there's probably another 4 or 5 you can onto that. So we're talking 7 minutes of football. They've got the ability, certainly at their best, to score twice in 7 minutes, but there's a foul throw. No, it's not. Sorry, apologies. I think this one's taken again. Gabriel Quack. Across the face and hacked away by Maxat. Touch from Gilberto, just plays it really into the path of Amaral. Amaral. Diego Lopez. They've left it out for everyone. It'll come to Song Yong, and Makundan smothers this one, and only just, it must be said. I thought for a minute he'd gone down too early. Needs to be careful, of course, not to be seen to be time wasting, because he's already in the book for that, and that was at 3-0, so I bet he wished he'd have kept that time wasting yellow up his sleeve for what's still going to be a nervy last couple of minutes here. Idraki. Oh, Draki's done really well here, Idraki. Now Tomoyuki Doi on a hat-trick. Gilberto with him. Gilberto into the area. Gilberto through on goal! Great save, Hassan Sani might come to Idraki. Just about gets it clear, and they'll concede the free kick. Well, Hassan Sani, it's a bit like closing the door after the stable horse has bolted, but for all he's conceded 3 and 2 of them have been shockers. He has made a couple of outstanding saves in this second half. I'm told there will only be 4 minutes of time added on. That will please Clement Teo, as Gilberto goes very close to completely wrapping the points up. Hassan Sani denied him that time. Chardin. So effectively, 5 minutes to play here. So still a goal now, and you would fear for Hougang the way this game has played out. But having said that, the Sailors have been nowhere near the best. And it's very encouraging for the AIA Singapore Premier League this season that if you don't bring it, if you make big signings and leave them on the bench, yes, you've got a schedule to cope with, but there's a long break for these players after today, remember. Gabriel Quack and Diego Lopez starting on the bench. Hougang smelt blood and the Cheetahs pounced. And it looks very much like they're going to get the 3 points in return. Also, just to check in with what's happening at our Tampines hub, where last we heard it was Jalan 1, the Young Lions 1. In what I think I'm right in saying, if it finishes that way, it would be the lowest scoring game of the season so far. There's confirmation. We're into the first of 4 minutes to be added on for stoppages. And again, there was a brief 30-second blitz when they got the goal, where maybe you thought the Sailors believed there was something in this game for them. No more. And Hougang are now just over 3 minutes away from what will go down as a famous victory. Jalan. Adam Swandy. He, of all the three substitutes, Lopez included, has made the most difference, you fancy, giving them some real zip down the left-hand flank. One other thing to take note of, as it stands, with no red cards shown at OTH today, we're also now 10 games into the season with no red cards, which from a discipline point of view is wonderful. Tomoyuki Doi got some overlapping runners here, one of which is the fresh legs of Anders Aplin, and he'll win the throw. Change coming, just to wind the clock down. The last permitted change, Shafiq Ghani will come on for Shawalamwa, who's had a magnificent day. So Shafiq Ghani on for Shawal, who was a big part of that first half firepower that set Hougang on their way to success. Shafiq Ghani has got to come in and make sure they don't concede 2 more goals in 2 minutes. Should be doable. Anders Aplin. Loose ball. Another 50-50 ball won by Hougang. Anders Aplin switches it wide. Hafiz. Good defensive header. And Adam Swandy will bring it away. And that's nice work from Noor Adam. He does like getting forward, Noor Adam. Here's an opportunity for him. Stipe wants it played into feet. And instead, he plays it out wide, where at least Gabriel Kwak and Song Yong will try and work together. And the substitute, Shafiq, managed to get it out wide. Lopez. Well blocked. Still Song comes. Squares it and belted away with some conviction by Hafiz. And again, even since they got the goal, with a very brief 30-second spell after they got one back, they just don't look like they've got the belief, the Sailors. It's a real worry for them. Full marks to Clement Teo as Diego Lopez plays a nice ball in. And it takes a deflection out for a corner. And also interesting to see if the two coaches, Aurelia Vidmar's been motionless and emotionless throughout the vast majority of this performance, in contrast to Clement Teo, who currently is on at the 4th official, checking for time added on. I think he'll be relieved to know that even if they were to score from this, the Sailors, they probably need another half an hour, at least the way they're playing, to get 2 goals. Headed away into the final 30 seconds at the time we go to Jelly. The only thing that takes the shine off this for Hougang is the fact they didn't keep a clean sheet. They really should have done. Makundan really gifted Stipe the one goal that got them back into it, and now Maxat concedes a free kick, but Sailors are playing like they think there's another 5 minutes to go. We are now over the 4 minutes designated as time added on. Diego Lopez might have a poke here with Makundan maybe a little bit wobbly. Decent delivery, and off the backside, I think it was his own player that stopped that going in. Hafiz away, and that will do it. Our referee, German Zaiton, blows for full time, and make no mistake about it, a coaching masterclass by Clement Teo has seen the Cheetahs win their 2nd game on the bounce and condemn the Lion City Sailors to their 1st defeat of the season, and it was a comprehensive defeat at that. 2 goals in a 60-second spell in the first half. The first by Lionel Tan after Hassan Sunny failed to clear a corner, and then seconds later when Hassan Sunny was at fault again and Tomoyuki Doi pounced, put the Cheetahs in at the break, 2 up. Aurelio Vidmar threw on the $3 million signing Diego Lopez and Gabriel Kwak at half-time, but frankly, it made next to no difference, and it was the Hougang Cheetahs that scored the 3rd. Tomoyuki Doi, as the Sailors' defence stood still, got the third goal that all but secured the points. There was a late consolation for Stipe Plazibat after McCundon spilled an Adam Swandy cross, who arguably was the most impressive of the Sailors' substitutes. But the Sailors are beaten, and the Cheetahs, with 6 points in a week, leapfrog both Tampines and the Sailors to sit second in the AIA Singapore Premier League tonight. It's finished. Lion City Sailors 1, Hougang United 3. So let's have a look back at the goals and the highlights from the match. There was Hassan Sunny's mistake from the corner, delivered in by Yamazaki, and Lionel Tan celebrating his call-up to the international training squad with a great goal. Hassan Sunny has to get something more on that, and Stipe Plazibat tried his best but can only deflect it into the roof of the net. And Lionel Tan, and the way they celebrated that goal, Hougang, showed you that they came here and were up for the fight. It's looking to me like the Lion City Sailors are underestimating some of their opposition in the Singapore Premier League this season. Only 21 games in the campaign. Hassan Sunny with another mistake. Tomoyuki Doi pouncing and scoring what was, at that point, his third goal of the week. 2-0 then, and that was the lead they'd hold on to into the second half. Hassan Sunny will not want to see that again. Unfortunately for him, we've got it at multiple camera angles. No mistake, no excuse. And unfortunately for him, there was no Sailor defenders tracking back. Tomoyuki Doi with goal number 3 for the campaign. The man that got 11 last season, just missing out on the golden boot to Stipe Plazibat. Into the second half, and, well, the Sailors defence just stood still here. Tomoyuki Doi almost getting in his own way with Gilberto Fortunata, but the Sailors just stood off him. Hassan Sunny wrong-footed, and at 3-0, that, quite frankly, was the ball game. The Sailors were second best throughout. They enjoyed plenty of possession, but did next to nothing with it. And in truth, McCundon, who made a couple of smart saves through his own mistakes in the first half, didn't have much to do in the second, even though he would go on to concede late on. As the Sailors finally put that possession to good use, Adam Swandy, for me, the most impressive of the subs, with a harmless-looking cross that McCundon should have smothered, but instead he spilled it out to Plazibat, who got his third goal of the season and third goal of the week. But that's how it finished. The Lion City Sailors beaten at home by Hougang in a coaching masterclass from Singapore's own Clement Teo. Next up, well, after the long break, the AIA Singapore Premier League for these two is back on April the 3rd. Don't forget, 2 great games coming your way tomorrow. But for the Sailors next up, they are at the Young Lions on April the 3rd, which of course is here. And next up for Hougang, they're at home against Tampines, also on April the 3rd. You got a glimpse of the stats there, which for me, an example of this game, don't really sum up a true reflection of the game, because Hougang set back and soaked up the pressure with consummate. It's finished 1-1 at our Tampines hub. Convalius, the Dutchman's first goal in Singapore football, levelled out by Kairin Nadim in the second half. It's finished 1-1 at OTH. It's finished 3-1 here, and it has a big effect on the early makings of the table. Hougang go up 2 places into second, and if Albirex Nagata were to lose heavily tomorrow, they could still be top at the end of the weekend, as unlikely as that may seem. And speaking of tomorrow, we've got 2 great games coming away. We'll be at Jurong East for Albirex Nagata up against Balestier Khalsa. And don't forget, there's another match at OTH as Tampines Rovers look to take advantage of the Sailors stepping up here with a win against rock bottom Tanjung Pagar United. That just about does it for the team here at Jalan Besar. We hope you've enjoyed this Saturday night sunset football. What a game. What a performance by the Cheetahs. It's orange and black flags flying high in Singapore tonight. Lion City Sailors 1, Hougang United 3.